Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn, and in this video, we have another practice speaking test. This one is with Madina from Uzbekistan. Remember, if you'd like to have your own free practice speaking test with feedback, or if you'd like me to check your IELTS writing tasks, I collect all of my candidates from two places, either my Telegram channel or my Facebook group. Links to both of those groups are given in the description. But let's get into today's test. Enjoy. Good afternoon. My name is Glyn. Would you please tell me your full name?
Hello, my name is Madina Mahkamova.
And what should I call you?
Please call me Madina.
Okay, thank you, Madina. Now, in this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some questions about yourself. Do you work or do you study?
I work and I've been working on and off as an English teacher for the course of 5 years now. And I've worked at schools, mainly the private ones, and I have worked at several learning centers as an English instructor, and I'm continuing doing that now as well.
And what do you like most about your job?
I guess the triumph in my job, it is the moment when I realize that my students are getting the results they were craving and working so hard for. And they come to me and say, Miss Madina, I got the result I was hoping for. And their parents start thinking, I guess this is the best moment.
And do you think you'll continue working in the same place in the future?
Yeah, since the beginning, since I have started working in this sphere, I felt that I belong to this place. So I guess for the rest of my life, I will be doing the same thing.
Now let's talk about family. Do you come from a big family?
Yeah, I can say that my family is quite big because well, there are six of us, parents and four siblings of mine. That's why I believe we are quite big.
And who do you get on with best in your family?
Absolutely not my siblings. I guess those are my parents since they are like more closer to me and I have a lot more to share with them. When it comes to my siblings, I don't know, we're from different worlds, so things are not working for us.
And how often do you see your extended family, like your aunts, uncles, and cousins?
I wish we could make family gatherings way more often than we used to do, but it is quite rare nowadays since everybody works, and twice a month, I guess, is enough for us nowadays.
And do you ever argue with any of your family members?
Absolutely. This happens on a regular since we have got different thoughts on everything. If they prefer to do something, the things are not going to work for me. So that's why we have quite a lot of arguments in between. And that's why I guess that's the reason why we meet so little.
Now let's talk about names. Do you like your name?
Absolutely. I know that this is quite common, and I guess not quite common, but very common name in Uzbekistan for girls, especially that were born in the beginning of 2000s. But still, I do love my name. It sounds great.
And does your name have any kind of special meaning?
Yeah, I am from a Muslim country and from Muslim family, and Medina refers to the holy place where the certain type of things are established. So yeah.
And have you ever forgotten someone's name?
It happens quite a lot, especially when I'm kicking my new groups that are 13 to 15 students in a group, and I tend to forget their names quite a lot. So that's not something that happens not frequently to me.
And do you know anyone who has a very unusual name?
Yes, I do. Since I started working with older students, I came to realize that names might be really, really interesting. For example, in Uzbek language, to refer to the meaning of shop, you call it bozor. And I know that there is a guy, my student, whose name is Bozor boy. So it's like when you translate into English, the idea that comes from it is like shop. His name is shop, literally.
Okay, thank you. Now, in this next part of the test, I'm going to give you a topic, and I would like you to speak about this topic for 1 to 2 minutes, But before that, you'll have 1 minute to prepare for your talk, and you may take notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yep.
Mhm. I will now share the topic on my screen. Can you see the topic?
Mm-hmm. I do.
I'd like you to talk about a time when you had to apologize. Your 1 minute of preparation time starts now. Okay, so that's the end of your preparation time. To remind you, you'll have between 1 and 2 minutes to give your talk, and I will let you know when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please?
Yes. I decided to talk about the time when I had to apologize to my mom specifically, and it was probably a year ago when I decided to switch from teaching at learning centers to the Uzbekistan Airways, where I'm currently working. The case was when I told my mom that I got the call from Uzbekistan Airways and they were offering me the job of an English instructor, but the topic of teaching was quite different since there we tend to teach more like a business English, and the main focus of teaching is speaking. So my mom told me that this is governmental organization, and in my current job, I do already have everything that I need, that I have to thrive in one place. And she said, and she warned me to be quite cautious and be quite, let's say, be a bit like of independent in what I was doing. I told her that getting a good job, and especially in such big organizations, is not the chance that everybody gets, and it might be the chance that I'm getting once in a lifetime. And she insisted on kind of not going there and staying where I was, since she believed again in the governmental job there are a lot of hypocrites and she has some sort of a bias about people working there. Anyways, I started feeling quite furious about what she was saying, and I went completely mad and felt that she was even jealous of me that I was getting this kind of a job. I didn't listen for her advice and I didn't want to talk her even. But to my surprise, I was deeply and utterly disappointed with my decisions. First 2 months were
Okay,
perfect.
thank you. All right, so you've been talking about this time when you had to apologize. Let's talk about apologizing in more detail now. What are some common situations when people need to apologize?
If we look at the word sorry, this is not the thing that is super difficult to say, especially nowadays, and its value is sort of lost. Everybody is saying sorry simply to, if you bump into someone, you just say sorry. If you kind of do something wrong or not so, you again say sorry. This is something already became a habit, yeah. But if we really are talking about apologizing deeply for committing something super difficult or super unforgivable, in that case, I guess that would be super personal stuff.
And do you think there's a difference then between simply saying sorry and really apologizing?
Absolutely. The word sorry has lost its value a long ago. So I guess when people say sorry, they don't really mean it. Not
Uh, What
anymore.
what do you think makes an effective apology?
Mm, it's like there is the quote even words does not matter but the actions do, yeah. You shouldn't look at the words of the people who are saying sorry or apologizing. You should look at their actions, and if they are kind of behaving in this at the same level as their fancy sorry does, so I guess that would count as a good one.
But doesn't that take more time? I mean, obviously apologizing you can do it immediately, but making up for it with actions, that takes a long time, no?
It certainly does, but I guess this is the beautiful point of it. You really get to know a person whose intentions are pure and who really feels sorry for what they have committed. Yeah.
Mhm. And do you think it's always better to apologize for important things in person, or do you think it can be done like online by text message?
I personally would like people to apologize if they really feel that they were guilty for committing or doing something, yeah, but still it depends on a person. We have two arrogant people who are kind of feeling that this is not their level, even if they have done something super bad, they don't feel guilty. They're completely guilt-free and they wouldn't even care about it.
And do you think apologizing is a skill that people can or even should learn?
That's a beautiful question, actually. I have never thought about it. I guess it requires a certain level of skill as well, since not everybody can beautifully explain how sorry they are. Yes, I have met quite a few of people that were apologizing so beautifully that I completely forgave them for doing something super bad, but they were the people who failed.
You mentioned forgiveness. Let's talk about forgiveness in more detail then. How easy or difficult is it for people in general to forgive others?
Again, it depends on what you have done, yes? If the thing that you have done towards somebody is super unforgivable or super, super deep, and it kind of carries some emotional level of stress, or I don't know, something like this. In that case, of course, this is naturally going to be difficult for one to forgive for one or another person. But if it's something on a surface level, I guess that's not going to matter so much.
Um, some people say that people today in 2025 are a lot more forgiving than people used to be. Do you think that's true?
No, I would argue with that. A lot of people, since the creation of, let's say, online media, YouTube, and everything, are getting the biased ideas that if, let's say, couples, yeah, if in the pair, the one part does some sort of bad things, they tend to be quite furious about it and not forget for very, very long time. So I don't really think people have become super forgiving in recent years.
And finally, do you think that being too forgiving is a sign of weakness?
Mm, yes and no. I know a lot of people who are super open and super naive to forgive everybody for doing completely disastrous things to them. So I guess this is gonna be the disadvantage that they're gonna face, and that's gonna come at a very, very high price. So that's why I don't think that people should be super forgiving.
Okay, thank you. That is the end of the test. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this practice speaking test with Madina. As always, let me know in the comments section below what score you think the candidate deserves for her performance. And as always, I'll make my own follow-up video with feedback, comments, analysis, and my own scores. That video will probably go up tomorrow. Remember, if you'd like to have your own free practice speaking test with feedback, or if you'd like me to check your IELTS writing, then join one of my groups. I'm on Facebook and Telegram. That's where I get all of my candidates from. All candidates are selected at random. If you'd like to avoid the random process and you'd like to pay for a speaking test or a writing check, then information on how you can get that, including a full price list, is available on my website, expertexaminer.com. More videos from me coming soon, but for now, bye bye.